Welcome to the 2021 Materials Research Society Fall Meeting. We are incredibly excited to welcome all of our members back in person to Boston, Massachusetts for 4 days of symposium sessions, keynotes and award talks, and much more. This is MRS TV. Welcome back to the second episode of MRS TV. Today, we are joined by Nobel Prize winner Sir J. Fraser Stoddart on artificial molecular machines, Gary Messing on the essentials of publishing, and a number of institutions working on innovative advancements in materials research. But first, over to our co-host, Stacy Serkasoon, for a conversation with Nobel Prize winner M. Stanley Whittingham on developing lithium batteries to tackle climate change.
Longtime MRS volunteer Stan Whittingham won the 2019 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for the development of the lithium-ion batteries. And he's here to talk to us today a little bit more about that. So, when you found out you won the Nobel Prize, where were you and how did you find out?
I was in Ulm, Germany at a large battery conference. So I heard about it at a civilized hour, like 11 o'clock in the morning. I was shell-shocked, I think, is what other people said. So I didn't seem particularly excited to begin with, but then it sunk in. And I had to keep quiet for about 30 minutes until they publicly announced it.
So now we want to talk to you about your Symposium X presentation, Lithium-ion batteries, from a dream to readiness to take on climate change, the material changes. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we started lithium batteries back in the 1970s. It was really a dream then. Now, lithium-ion batteries now dominate, and our challenge now is to make them better, lower cost, and make them last forever.
So out of all the things you could have focused on, what made you choose focusing on lithium-ion batteries?
I was excited about how ions move in solids. So I did that for my bachelor's degree, my doctorate. And then when I went to Stanford in California, I also studied how the fast ions moved in a compound called beta alumina, the sodium ions. So we said, hey, let's look at some other materials. And at Exxon, we're actually looking at superconductors. And I found when I made some of these, they involved a lot of heat. So I said, hey, we can store energy in this. And that's where it started out.
Did you ever think it would be at the place it is today?
Well, we had dreams then, because we were thinking about electric vehicles. Got to remember there was no Sony toys, no iPhones, no laptop computers at that time. There wasn't that much interest in grid storage then. So we had some dreams, but never dreamed of where it would land up, no.
So we've talked about the past of lithium-ion batteries. So what about the future?
They're going to get better and better. I think we're going to replace all internal combustion engines in cities like Boston. And then we'll have solar and wind. And you'll have battery packs probably in your own home.
So what are some challenges you face when it comes to expanding their capacity?
Can I say biggest challenge is China? China dominates the business at the moment. There is not the expertise in Europe or the US, so we have to build the infrastructure.
So in addition to your work, you've been a long-time MRS member. What has that meant to your career?
Well, it's been an exciting time. I started a materials chemistry program at Binghamton University. I started a graduate program in materials science and engineering. We started a student chapter of MRS at Binghamton, which is still alive today. I've always tried to get students involved. If you don't have the new students, you don't have anybody in the pipeline to join the organization and run it in future years.
Well, thank you so much, Stan Whittingham, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And good luck on your future endeavors with the lithium-ion battery. We're excited to see what's to come.
Thank you very much.
Artificial intelligence is changing the way researchers tackle a variety of challenges in the lab. Let's see how the Advanced Materials Research Facility in Mississauga, Canada, is building a team of collaborators to use novel tools such as AI to help Canada meet its emissions reduction goals.
An advanced materials research facility has been built to develop clean energy solutions to help Canada meet its emission reduction targets.
We host a new initiative jointly led by the National Research Council of Canada and Natural Resources Canada, which is a first initiative of its kind in the Greater Toronto Area.
Our 4 research pillars include accelerated materials discovery, materials for electrocatalysis, powder synthesis, and smart materials for smart objects.
We bring collaborators together to share resources, pool our knowledge, and shape new scientific directions.
We're forming close ties with the University of Toronto's Acceleration Consortium.
It's called consortium because we bring together academic researchers, industrial researchers, and government researchers.
Let's consolidate our expertise and accelerate research to address challenges that impact the global community now.
MRS TV is brought to you from the 2021 MRS Fall Meeting. You can find us in person at the Heinz Convention Center, in select hotels, on the homepage of the meeting platform, and online. From award winners to research center visits, it's all on MRS TV.
When you've been successful and made the first breakthrough, you've got to repeat it over and over and over again in order to convince the community that it's not a flash in the pan.
I was greatly inspired when I left my undergraduate institution, which was the University of Edinburgh, with my PhD. And my wonderful professor at that time, he said, whatever you do, Stoddart, tackle a big problem. I saw this publication by a man called Charles Pedersen from the DuPont Research Labs in Wilmington, Delaware, making big rings. And I had been kind of indoctrinated at Edinburgh by my teachers as, so forget about making rings bigger than 7. Well, here was one that was being 18 atoms big, and it really blew apart the teaching that I'd been given. And so I thought, well, that's where I start. That's a big problem. The challenges I faced were very much the academic system of the time, where in England it was, and to some extent it maybe still is, hierarchical. And so being a young equivalent of an assistant professor was not an easy task, because the last thing the more senior people wanted to do was to give you support. So that was a challenge, but I overcame that in the fullness of time. It took 20 years, but you know, you just have to learn to be patient, and I came out on top, I think, at the end of it. I knew Fred Kavli rather well when I was at the University of California, Los Angeles. We used to meet on an annual basis, and I have very warm memories of these meetings. When I met with Fred, it was always a day to remember, because he was a person of great posture and was rather poky in his sense of humor, a very gentle person in speech and in his actions, and you know, I came to have great admiration for him. And one of the things that I think he did rather well in his philanthropy was not to target just one thing. He has 3 prizes, for example, that are given by annually. So it wasn't that his philanthropy was very, very much targeted. It was that it was spread over different countries to different levels, and I think in that respect Fred was unique.
Kalpana, Katti, and Rebecca Anthony are here to talk to MRS TV about the broadening participation in the materials community event. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Very good. It's a pleasure.
Doing very well, yeah.
So, MRS has recently launched 6 diversifying materials special interest groups. What are those groups, and what is the overall goal behind them?
Yeah, they're known as SIGs, and the 6 groups are diversity in academia, researchers of color, LGBTQ+ researchers, underrepresented racial and ethnic minority students, and women in materials science and engineering, and lastly, the awards nominations committee. And the objective behind the SIGs is really to catalyze almost a grassroots effort on behalf of the MRS community to get involved in issues that they're passionate about that are all centered around broadening participation in the materials community as a whole. And so these feature efforts behind diversity, efforts behind, again, these underrepresented groups, and just trying to create a community-driven approach to changing the structure within MRS to improve the culture.
If you're interested in these kind of groups, what kind of activities would you be participating in?
Well, the first thing is these SIGs are brand new, special interest groups. We call them SIGs. And one of the first activities we're going to do is identify what the issues are. So we are hoping to build these cohorts of leaders in those areas that would help us identify what the issues are and then have targeted activities around that.
Most of the SIGs are self-explanatory based on their title, but there's one that might need a little bit more explanation, and that's the Underrepresented Racial and Ethnic Minorities program. Can you kind of tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the focus for the UREM SIG is really on student populations who identify in these underrepresented racial and ethnic minorities. And I think that in particular is a part of our community that could use a lot more support from MRS as a whole. And so the hope is that by getting the students involved in this community, particularly maybe in their first or their second time they come to the MRS as undergraduate or graduate students, there can be the creation of, as Kalpana said, a community of leaders who are willing to put forth a little bit of effort in trying to change the culture of MRS and trying to solve some of the problems associated with student groups that identify as underrepresented in the community as a whole, even outside of MRS.
How can participants get involved in this?
Oh, that's super easy. Send an email to Rebecca, send an email to me, or send an email to Michelle. Definitely we want more people involved. Yesterday at the event, it was just a fabulous turnout. I was so impressed with how passionate people are about these types of activities, and it's just wonderful to see. So very easy to get involved.
Well, thank you so much, Kalpana and Rebecca, for joining us today. It was a blast to have you guys. So congratulations and good luck on your future endeavors.
Thank you. We're very excited.
And now to Singapore, where the Accelerated Materials Development for Manufacturing Research program is using new computing tools like machine learning to accelerate materials development.
The next frontier really is in the use of robotics and automation for high-throughput workflows, both in experiments and in theory, coupled with machine learning and optimization to accelerate materials research. So this really was the essence of the AMDM program. So this brings together A-star research institutes focusing on materials research, machine learning and applications, as well as the two local universities in Singapore, National University of Singapore, NUS, and Nanyang Technological University, NTU. If you really want to accelerate materials research, our tools can help you augment the speed at which you do the research. The tools that we make available hopefully will be open source, should have data provided to everybody, and should be easy to use. We have startups coming out of our program, for example, that use these tools. We have applications where we actually help multinational corporations accelerate their workflows. We actually have small, medium enterprises who do not know how to collect data efficiently, and our tools help them to sample the parameter space more efficiently. So the vision really is to provide tools to the global community of research so that we can accelerate materials research everywhere.
Before we continue, we wanted to check in with the folks in Boston to see how sustainability factors into your research.
That's the reason why I'm doing research. My Professor Rebecca Belisle at Wellesley College, we work on perovskite solar cells. So that's all we do is sustainability.
My research is mostly geared towards trying to store energy, efficient, better ways, trying to generate energy in a better way. So it's all about sustainability.
Anytime you make a new nanotherapeutic or therapeutic platform, you want to make sure that it's sustainable. It's not going to do too much more damage to the environment, and then do more damage to the environment than actually be helpful. Otherwise, you're just creating another issue that someone else is going to have to fix.
The Institute of Structural Materials, ISM, at Swansea University is a unique facility that offers testing and characterization of metallic materials and advanced composites. Let's take a visit to see what makes it so special.
The Institute of Structural Materials is based around the microstructure property relations of high-performance materials. We're interested in mechanical characterization, mechanical testing of different materials.
We have a wide range of mechanical test frames here that can do all manner of different things, such as fatigue testing, creep testing, thermal mechanical fatigue testing, powder interlayer bonding, and that's unrivaled across the world.
It combines a commercial test house, which is called SMART, and also we have a number of academics and research students who can then interpret the results that are generated from the test house.
We also have an array of different non-invasive measurement techniques for temperature and in situ analysis. These are pyrometry, thermography, digital image correlation and acoustic emission.
We've got a track record of success over a number of years and have delivered research programs in aerospace, automotive, nuclear. I think we're well placed to adapt to the future materials challenges we're going to see over the next 10 years.
MRS TV welcomes Gary Messing, retiring editor-in-chief of the Journal of Material Research. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So the Essentials of Getting Your Work Published session is a popular reoccurring session at the MRS meetings. Tell us a little bit more about what happens in these sessions.
The Essentials of Publishing is a mechanism for the editors of the various MRS journals to communicate, the types of things that we're doing in terms of publishing papers. We're able to address some questions that young scholars have about publishing a paper, the kinds of papers that there are out there, letters, reviews, and like that. But also we talk a lot about the quality of the submission.
So what are the most common questions you hear among young researchers?
Yeah, well, there's always a lot of concern about, what's the right way to submit your paper. That's one issue, but the other type of issue is there's a lot of concern about, let's say, who's going to review my paper. Our advice always is, at the meeting, there are experts in your area that are excited about the kind of research you're doing, and so we advise them, get those individuals on board as potential reviewers for your paper. But there's a lot of guidance in the Essentials of Publishing in terms of how to position your paper in that regard.
So what are some common pitfalls that young researchers stumble into when they're just beginning to submit their publication?
You have to recognize that there are authors all over the world, and sometimes guidance is not given on the submission letter. So the submission letter might be as simple as, here's my paper, would you please review it for your journal? Well, that's unfortunately a black mark against the author. And it kind of puts a negative spin on your paper before it even gets considered. So the submission letter is really, really key. That's one pitfall. And the other pitfall is not reading the aims and scopes of the journal. So spending a little bit more time determining which paper or which journals are appropriate for your paper is really a key part of the submission process.
That's some great advice. You've been editor-in-chief of the Journal of Material Research since 2009. What are some of your biggest accomplishments during that time?
Well, I think the journal as a whole has improved substantially. The only way that we can judge that is by looking at things like impact factor. But I think the things that we've done to get there are important. So our editorial board has done a super job of really doing a hard job of providing quality reviews, quality feedback, and making hard decisions about papers that don't quite meet the standard that we're adhering to. Another thing that we've done is that the journal is much more closely aligned with the MRS meeting itself.
Well, thank you so much, Gary, for joining us today, and I wish you luck in all your future endeavors.
Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
And now for another trip across the ocean to Ireland, where the Advanced Materials and Bioengineering Research Centers partners leading researchers in materials science with industry to help bring ideas from the lab to the market.
AMBET stands for the Advanced Materials and Bioengineering Research Centre.
Amber is hosted within Trinity College Dublin.
Amber's mission is to carry out world-leading material science and partner with companies really to translate research into commercial value.
Amber has it all. It's got the faculty and the staff, and I'm finding a lot of good people to work with here that I may not have found in any other institution.
The collaboration between Amber and industry is really important. We've had licenses which have gone all the way from our laboratories onto supermarket shelves.
We need a partner like Amber to help us investigate many materials aspects so that we can ultimately make informed decisions about the future of semiconductor technology.
Amber's an important partner for us because the relationship is so productive. From the management of the programs to the engagement with the scientists.
We are almost through here at MRS TV, but first, we wanted to hear from our members to see what do your non-scientist friends think you do versus what you actually do.
So very crudely speaking, I make diamonds in my lab, and my friends think that I just play with lasers all the time.
I think a lot of my friends think I've synthesized the vaccine. They think I was part of that, you know? Like every scientist in America or in the world right now is working on that. What I actually do, I do a lot of reading, a lot of thinking.
I actually come from Italy, from a very small village, and I think my friends there, my family, they have no idea. I mean, I try to very simply explain them what am I doing, and they say that it seems fun, but I'm not sure. I'm very good to send the message of what exactly I'm working on.
Yeah, they think I'm crazy, I think, because actually I'm doing a postdoc right now, and most people doesn't understand what is a postdoc. They think, oh, you're still in school.
My friends think I just build robots that can, make tea for them or something like that.
And now for our final visit today, let's head to Virginia Tech's Macromolecules Innovation Institute to see how they have been a hub of transdisciplinary materials science research since the 1980s.
The Macromolecules Innovation Institute is recognized globally as a go-to place for macromolecular science and engineering.
I really enjoy working at MII because I get to work with material scientists and chemists to create materials for the next generation additive manufacturing systems. The transdisciplinary research enabled by MII has really transformed my research in my research lab.
I'm not a traditionally trained polymer chemist, but the day that I joined Virginia Tech, I realized I can use so much resources that's already built at Virginia Tech on the polymer research areas.
We're working across campus with multiple researchers who do things as disparate as mechanical testing, electron microscopy, and being able to combine all these things together really lets us advance our materials much more rapidly.
When we bring in junior faculty and students and postdocs, they come here and they recognize quickly that they need to be the leaders of tomorrow.
That's all for the second episode of MRS TV. Tomorrow may be our final day in Boston, but don't forget, MRS's fall meeting continues virtually on December 6th. On tomorrow's episode, as we feature more highlights from Thursday, as well as other interviews with more notable experts in the field. And just a reminder, you can find us right here at the Heinz Convention Center, as well as in select hotels, on the homepage of the meeting platform, and of course, always online. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Don't miss the Fall 21 virtual meeting next week. Enjoy a full suite of live and on-demand talks Monday through Wednesday. Meet with exhibitors in virtual exhibit booths. Hear lightning talks and a panel discussion among our award winners on Monday. On Tuesday, watch the live distinguished keynote talk featuring Nobel Prize winner Sokostya Novoselov of the University of Manchester. Log into the virtual platform to add these and other sessions to your meeting agenda, and be sure to join us virtually. On-demand content will be available for viewing in the virtual platform through January 15th.
The University Chapter Program is a passionate and talented network of students from 130 universities in 27 countries. The program fosters an environment for collaboration and open exchange of ideas across all scientific disciplines. Congratulations to the newest MRS University chapter, the University of Mongolia. If you are a student or faculty member and are interested in starting a chapter at your institution, visit the University Chapter website, mrs.org/universitychapters, to learn more. MRS now offers a free one-year dues renewal option for recent doctoral graduates. This offer, available only once per member, is designed to support our next generation of researchers as they transition from student to career professionals, and will include all benefits and advantages of MRS membership. The next membership cycle begins January 1. Check your inbox. Details will be sent by email to those who are eligible.
MRS engages members across generations to advance their careers and promote materials research and innovation. Whether you are seeking a new career opportunity, committed to creating more inclusive and equitable environments, or gaining recognition for educational and career achievements, MRS is here to support your career advancement goals. Free webinars and virtual workshops are offered year-round, covering a wide range of topics, from preparing for a job search to getting your work published, to understanding unconscious bias, and so much more. Learn more at mrs.org/careercentral. Don't just read our journals, contribute to them. By submitting your work to an MRS journal, you'll reach a global audience and have an impact that will extend for many years. MRS publishes cutting-edge research, perspectives, and review articles along with books and textbooks. Visit booth 617 in the exhibit hall Tuesday through Thursday to find the MRS journal that meets your materials topic and stage of research. Meet with commissioning editors, learn about new author services and discounted open access for MRS members, and more.
Nominate an outstanding paper published in 2021 for JMR's 8th Annual Paper of the Year. The award recognizes excellence in advancing materials knowledge through written scholarship. The nomination deadline is January 19. The award will be presented at the 2022 MRS Spring Meeting.
Don't miss the Fall 21 virtual meeting next week. Enjoy a full suite of live and on-demand talks Monday through Wednesday. Meet with exhibitors in virtual exhibit booths. Hear lightning talks and a panel discussion among our award winners on Monday. On Tuesday, watch the live distinguished keynote talk featuring Nobel Prize winner Sokostya Novoselov of the University of Manchester. Log into the virtual platform to add these and other sessions to your meeting agenda, and be sure to join us virtually. On-demand content will be available for viewing in the virtual platform through January 15th.